Okay, welcome back, guys. So just to do a quick update on the price action movements of Bitcoin and do a quick recap on some of the trades that I've done. So before I start, let me also call out that I'm not a professional trader or financial advisor. So what I'm going to share with you is just my own trading journal. So please do not copy blindly. Please seek professional advice elsewhere. So with that disclaimer aside, let's dive right in. So what you can see on the screen here is actually Bitcoin price action movements for the hourly chart, and basically it has been on an upwards trend after its initial spike over here. So after this spike, it continues to consolidate and move upwards. So to me, this is actually quite a strong trend upwards, because even though the price has peaked over here, we do not see it slump back down. It actually continues to consolidate while forming new high lows, right? So the lower base is actually growing over time. So this shows there is a very strong buyer sentiment, and you can see that the price has been testing this resistance zones, which is around 38K for quite some time now, since early November to date. So yeah, he has tried to hammer this a few times, and you can see that the lower base is also tightening over time. So from just looking at this price action, it tells me that the price is likely going to break above and it continue to hammer all the seller position at this level. So just one thing to note. So one way to look at this is as it continues to hammer or go against sellers, over time, the level of orders within this area will start to diminish, right? As it starts to diminish, then what happened is it will get easier and easier to break above. As you can see at this point, around 24th of November, we see the first break above. It came back down because buyer wasn't able to drive the price higher. But immediately, as you can see, just recently, it has recovered back up to this point. So it became easy to break above this 38K line than before. So this is a zoom out view of what we can observe from a price action perspective. Now let's dive deeper into the recent hourly chart to see what was happening. So if we just look at this on the recent day, what you can see is initially when it spiked above, it drops down. And when it dropped down, it actually formed like a base. So it hits here from a higher base than before, and immediately shoot back up. And as it shoot back up, you can see this curve line upwards, which is like a incremental upwards trajectory over here. And you can see the volume also goes up accordingly. So this tells me that this is actually a healthy upwards push, because if there is no volume and the price actually goes up, then it's likely to drop back down because it's unorganic in that sense. So I like to see that when the price go up, the volume also go up accordingly, meaning to say that there is sellers pushing the price back down, that they are unable to meet the buyer's demand, hence the price has increased. So to me, this is a better gauge of whether is this push going to stay or not. So once it hits the top part of this price action, as in this level, which is around 38.4K, you can see it slump back down right now. So I'm not very alarmed by this slump back down, because if the price has pushed up to this level, maybe some level of consolidation is needed before the price can even push higher. And as you can see, if we zoom out, 38K was actually the resistance level, and the initial breakthrough come back down, and it become very easy to break above this 38K than before. So it pretty much cancel away the downward trend, because it break above this downward movement over here. So now let me just add in a few annotation. I know it's a bit messy, but I'll get you through what I have plotted here. And basically what you can see is that there is a swing box, which is the blue color box that I've actually drawn here. So this swing box over here is actually how I annotate what was the previous high and low. So this was the previous high and this was the previous low. So from a swing perspective, we would see like a wave. So let me just zoom out a bit. You'll see this up, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high before this low. So when the price was dropping, I immediately plotted the swing box, and this is the low of the swing and this is the high of the swing. So let's see how the price plays or behave within the swing box. And I have also plotted two zones. One is the resistance zone in red, the other is the support zone in green. So initially, when the price first started to drop, this was actually a green support zone, but as it break through easily, I and then for the support zone, as you can see, the price when it comes down, it actually reacts to this support zone, immediately came back up, and then it did not touch this support anymore. It just went parabolic upwards to retest the upper high level. So this is just to highlight to you that support and resistance is not always going to help rebound the price, but it is a good gauge of how the price will react at this level because it will tell you what will be the future trajectory based on how buyers and sellers are moving during those specific levels. So as you can see, the initial drop over here, even though it, it does has a rebound, it actually cut through like a butter until here before it rebound. So to me, that was actually a bad sign because it seems like the support wasn't doing its job. And as you can see, it continues down and immediately I changed this from support zone to resistance. So how I plot these zones are based on volume profile. So let me give you and actually, you can refer to my previous analysis where I did actually went through this. But basically, this is the volume profile. And what I did was I was looking for, let's see, I think it was from here. And the reason why I plot here is because you can see like a sideway movement. So I want to see within this sideway movement, what was the level with highest traded volume. And this will tell us those levels that is likely going to be a neutral zone or rather inflection point. So as you can see, this resistance zone is well within this high volume level. And then you can see another one, which is this support level. Okay, so now moving closer to the recent movements, let's zoom in a little bit more. So I have also started plotting where were the buy and sell positions that I've made. And you can actually refer to the left. If you just look on your left, I do have all the buy and sell last three trades of what I've done. So the recent one was 2 hours ago, I actually make a buy position. 10 hours ago, I actually make a sell. I executed a sell order. Then 14 hours ago, I also executed a buy order. So, and you can actually refer to all this annotation here to see what were the levels and when did I make those orders. So for example, 2 hours ago, which is this one, I actually make a buy position. So I executed a buy order and the price did actually went up. So I'm in a profit right now. And you can actually see what is my current unrealized profit, which is around $26. And what is my latest portfolio value, which is around $743. So this is how you can refer to the recent trading that I've done. It's more for me to do a recap. And as I talk through my own analysis, it helps to build the context in my mind. So when I actually refer to the chart and refer to new form candlestick, I can immediately retrace back to the analysis that I just talked through and make those connection and whether should I go in with a buy or sell. But I hope this kind of analysis will also be helpful for you to kind of gauge how actually approach trading. And if you have a thought or feedback regarding your own trading style, I'm happy to also learn more from you as well. So what you can see here, just to go in a little bit more, is when the downward trend happened, I actually plotted this trend line just to see where were the high. And you can see that when it touches this support line, it rebound upwards. And when it came back down, it actually tests this trend line. It consolidated a while. So this is interesting to me because when it consolidated, it did not immediately went back down. So there is some level of support by buyers to maintain this higher low than before. So you can see this is the first low, second low, which is higher than the before. And then this is the third low, which is higher than the previous two. So at this point is where I actually make a buy, right? If I zoom in a little bit, you can see I sell at this level. So maybe, so this is where I initially sold this candle because I think that the price have to retest this trend line. So when I sold this level, it tested, it maintains. And when I see that the price has a good retracement, you can see this candle, it's going up. I decided, hey, it's time to go in with a buy. And that's what I did. I went in with a buy at this point, and then the price actually went up to this level. I decided, this is a good time for another buy. So I make a buy here and it went up further. And you can see at this point, I make a sell order. So you can see this candle, there is a sell order. And the reason for this sell is because it is going into the resistance zone. And I thought that there will be some level of retracement, maybe forming a new high low. So for example, first low, second low, third low, maybe a fourth low. But what happened is immediately just went parabolic upwards. So at this point, when I make a sell order, I'm not actually going against the flow of the Bitcoin price action. I'm actually just taking out some profits because I'm not sure how the price will react at this level. But what happens is, as you can see, as the volume continues to build up, let me just zoom in. The volume continues to build up. We actually break above this resistance zone. And this is an interesting fact, right? Because there will be a lot of seller at this point. So when this, because this is the support, this is the resistance zone, we will expect some level of liquidity at this point. So when the price hit above this level, the volume just went up like crazy. And I actually annotate here that this is liquidation phase. And what do I mean by that is, if you zoom out a little bit, so I have a diagram here, or rather a snapshot, and I copy this from another site just to give you a sense of the total liquidation chart. So Bitcoin total liquidation chart. So from a 4-hourly perspective, you can see this big drop over here. So a lot of short position at this point was liquidated. So if I zoom out to 4-hourlies, you'll see that it's the same story, right? So this candle is this candle. The second one is this, and the third one is this, where you can see the huge jump going above the resistance zone. This is where all the liquidation happens. So what it also tells me is that, let me zoom back in to hourly. What it tells me is when the price break above this movement is supported by the liquidation of the shorts. So it went up, but this is where it gets interesting, right? Because it's now, when it goes up to this level, it's now testing the previous high. So there was some consolidation and immediately dropped back down. So this drop back down, what I have annotated is that this is likely because it's already at the ceiling or roof of this previous high, and because of the significant previous huge push upwards, then it's bound to be some consolidation needed before we can have a healthy break above. So that's why you will see some level of consolidation downwards. And this is expected in my opinion, because if you look over here, there isn't a point where the price has, so I would expect the price to do this, right? Come here, come back down before it goes up. It did not happen this way. So the price just immediately break above, as you can see. So that, what that means is there is some level of void at this point. Let me just plot this so it's clearer. Right, so there is some level of void at this level. So the price has to kind of retrace a bit, maybe consolidate here before you retest this high. But in my opinion, and that's why I actually went in with a buy position. You can see a B here, meaning that I actually bought it around this level. Is because I feel that the price would likely have to retest this level again. So there are a few scenarios that I'm anticipating here. First is immediately it go back and test this level, or second, it will do some level of consolidation at this level before it go back up to test this level. So in a short-term perspective, I do think that there is a higher likelihood that it will test this level and going back down to, let's say, 36.8K. So that's what I'm anticipating. And let's see how will the price move in the subsequent candlestick. So that's all for today's analysis. I hope you like it. If you like it, please give a thumbs up and even subscribe. And please feel free to share your thoughts around what do you see from a price action perspective or even other technical aspect. And that's all for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.